with most people, if you start talking to them about watching their weight, their first impulse is probably going to be to run to the bathroom, pull out the bathroom scale and see how heavy they are. Or in some cases, that might be a second impulse after they scream and try and hit you. But we are not most people, we are dancers. And to a dancer, your weight is not whatever massive fat you might happen to have or not have. Your weight is a vertical force going downward, which is due to gravity. And when we're talking about where your weight is, we're talking literally about where it is, meaning how it is distributed between the various points of support you have, which is usually your feet, because your feet are on the ground. And so if I'm standing here on both feet, I'm centered on both feet, my weight is on both feet. If I want to, I can shuffle over this way, so I don't have any weight on this foot. And so my weight is on my left foot. I can shift over the other side, so now there's no weight on this foot, and now my weight is on my right foot. And this is very important in dance because whenever you're doing different things, there will probably be a very heavy reliance on which foot you are on to be able to do it, and when you can actually do it. Okay, so you have to be aware of which foot you are on all of the time. You shouldn't have to sit and think about it saying, okay, which foot am I on? You should know, you should be able to sense. And so practice standing here on both feet, and then onto one foot, and then onto the other foot. And you can see here my feet are fairly close together, so I don't have to go very far to be able to get onto this foot. And I don't have to go very far to get onto this foot. Okay? So that's very important. Now, even if you're going forward, we'll just take a step forward here. My weight is on this foot. This foot back here doesn't have very much weight. If I'm all the way on to this foot, there won't be any weight on that foot. How can I tell? You can see I can lift that foot, and up here I'm not moving at all. If there's still weight on that foot, then you'll have a couple of options. One is you won't be able to lift that foot because you'll have to shift your weight to be able to do it. Or when you lift this foot, you'll feel yourself, and if you need to, you can check in the mirror and watch yourself. You can watch yourself shifting forward. And if you see that, you're not all the way on that foot. Okay? Now in tango, you will be spending most of your time on one foot or the other foot, but very rarely both. There are some exceptions, but not very many. For ladies or whoever is following, if you're dancing with a partner, you will be spending about 98 or 99% of your time, possibly even more, on one foot or the other, but not both. If you find yourself on both feet, you could be in the middle of something that your partner is waiting for you to finish. Keep that in mind. For the men, you will also be spending most of your time on one foot or the other, but you may have a few extra instances where you need to plant yourself on both feet, depending on what you're leading a partner to do. She may need the extra support, and you may have to plant yourself to make sure you're good and stable, which means you've got your feet apart, you've got your weight on both of them, so you're nice and solid, so that you're not going to go anywhere, so she doesn't have to go anywhere. She can rely on you for your support. Okay, but if you're on your own, which these videos are assuming, you will be on one foot or the other. You will very rarely be on both. Okay, Now, this comes up in a walking exercise that I have done with people where I have tried to get them to shift their weight forward while they're walking. And some of these people, well, most people, when they're walking along, they're kind of some variation of this. Okay, they're basically centered still. Okay, and then they gradually come forward. And then they're centered again and gradually come forward. And we do that too, but we tend to go right to that other foot. So we're going to go right to that foot, right to that foot. So your weight is forward and there's no weight on here. I have had some people where if I tell them to shift their weight forward, what I'm looking for is to get your upper body shifted forward this way. And what some people will do is they don't understand this, and so they try and shift their weight forward by going forward like this. Now what's happening at this point? Yeah, my head is going forward and my upper body is going forward. This here is going back. So I am still in the middle of my feet. I haven't changed my balance at all. Okay, so if you think of a stick, this is a piece of wood. It's straight up and down. If it was going to lean in one direction, it's not going to be able to bend over like this or else it's going to snap. It's going to have to go all together right from the bottom. And so that's what we're looking for here when we're shifting our weight forward or back. We're shifting everything right from down there all the way up forward. Okay, now this is kind of an important second part with tango. A lot of different types of dances have their particular aesthetics and how they try and keep themselves balanced. In tango, we like to stay forward on our feet. The balls of your feet up here, not your heel. Because in tango, we tend to do a lot of turning on the ball of the foot. And very rarely on the heel. Okay, and so what we'll do is we keep our weight forward on the ball of the foot so we're always ready to do that kind of a turn. Okay, if you have a partner in front of you, it also means you're forward, your partner is forward. You can be closer here so you've got more of a connection. You've got more space down there to allow for your feet to do whatever they're going to do. Okay, so this here is something which is very much tango, so you're going to have to get used to it, and you will find a lot of things you do in tango are depending on this, and so you're going to have to make sure you're on one foot or the other, usually, and when you're standing, or even when you're walking, but that's going to take a bit of practice, especially when you're standing, you're going to want your weight forward so that you're balanced on the balls of your feet. Your heels can actually be off the ground. All right, this is the stance you want for tango.